today, I made another spaceship, which I'm going to show to you.
Here we have my ship, and this isn't based off of anything, it's just something I come up with my own imagination. And this time, it's a passenger ship, and it works by transporting people in cryosleep. And while in this theoretical part of time, travel is much faster, it can still take upwards of 2 years to get between colonized worlds. So, people don't want to be sitting on a ship for 2 years. That's why they use cryosleep, so they're not going to be just, completely bored. And as with all of my ships, I of course have a stand. And now I'm going to start at the back. And as is common, we have a couple booster rockets, my steering thrusters, 4 of them. And this time, I only have one main thruster, because what it'll typically do is it'll go to a solar system, dock at probably the main colonized planet there, and then once it's picked everybody up, it'll boost out to unused space, and then, start warping to the other location, because that could take a couple years, depending on how far it's going. The reason it only has one, as opposed to where the others have 2, is because, whereas warships typically will want 2, because they'll be doing a lot of space battles, so they'll want to maneuver quickly, just in space, without, warping or transporting to an area. Freighters or tankers will typically be doing a lot of docking at the different mining stations, because it's more efficient for them to dock at each of the mining stations than to dock at one place and have all the ore or gas/liquid being transported to it. It'll typically dock at each of the mining stations. However, for this, since it'll be picking up people throughout the solar system, because a lot of different people live on kind of random planets or moons or whatever, it'll dock at the main area, and then it's everyone else's job to get to it. So throughout the planet, they have to get to it, and if they're off planet, they have to transport over to it, because it's much easier for everybody else to get to it than for them to go to each of the different locations to pick everyone else up. So it's not going to be doing a lot of general maneuvering, but it will want to boost out to the area it's warping in quickly. So that's why it has one main thruster and 2 boosters. And now after that rant, we're going to move on to these, which are docking spots for medium-sized spaceships. And this is actually the scale of a medium-sized spaceship to, a large-sized. And so if I'm going to build any medium-sized spaceships, I'm going to make them larger, because just showing you a bunch of these wouldn't be interesting. So, yeah. Now, moving on from the engine area, we have the life support section. And this is where it, grows food and, stores water, and then processes it down and pumps it into the cryotubes, so they're fed. And it also monitors their vital systems to make sure nothing's going wrong. That's this code section up here. And then this kind of blocky section here, that's the cargo storage. And this transports, mail or different packages that people want shipped, but, not anything specific. Not any luggage. And speaking of luggage, this area down here, this kind of rectangle, which goes underneath this little piece here that I'm rubbing my fingers along. This piece, yeah, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. That does store luggage. That's where they store luggage. And it's just simple shelves they put it on. And then up here, this kind of sticking out part that again goes all the way across, that's where they store the people. These are where the cryotubes are. And while yes, it is much bigger than the luggage, so it looks like more people than what they'd carry for luggage would fit on here. The cryotubes themselves are actually pretty big, because they contain all of the equipment to, cryogenically freeze somebody. But they're also each escape pods, so if anything goes wrong, it can just jettison them out. So they're quite bulky, which is why it's, so much bigger. And then this area up top, it's kind of, sticking out, that is pretty much where it docks and people can get on. And it's also a spot that's generally just a lobby for them to wait while they get into cryogenic freezing. And now we move to the front, where we've got this glass part, of course, be the cockpit where they drive, and this dome to be the sensors array, and then these pieces sticking out, those are the communications array. And then this section that's above the slanted area, that is where the crew stays, because it's not relatively a small amount of crew, pretty much just engineers to maintain the electronic equipment. And then this part that's sticking out at the bottom here, this is kind of like the keel of the ship. That has a bunch of electrical wires and fuel tubes or water tubes or whatever, and some, kind of walkways, pretty much to transport things throughout the ship, so it can get other people or signals, like instructions, pretty much, from one end of the ship to the other, pretty easily. So that's what that's used for. And then this little area in here, right across this kind of brown area, brownish gray, that is a cargo entrance, and what it is that'll open up and it allows them to put in either the luggage or the cargo. So, that's how you get the stuff in, by that entrance. And that appears to be about it.
But yeah, that's my ship. Hope you enjoyed it, and see ya.